Hey, good evening, guys, and
Hi.
welcome back again. I was on earlier on, and I've come back again because I love you all. Do you know me? I love you all. So we're back again, and I'm joined by my good friend. I should probably more like have other people joining, but for the meantime, you have got me, and I'm in the company of John Sinclair for Sinclair TV. Staunch, as I say, staunch Newcastle fan. What put it this way, what he doesn't know about Newcastle ain't worth knowing about. Trust me, it's not worth knowing about. How are you, John? How's everything with you?
Hi to you, Rod. Big up to you, my guy. Thanks for having us on. It's been good. Just tough week, but yeah, just under the weekend.
Yeah, we're near there. Who you lot got this weekend?
Man City.
Man City. Is that an early kickoff or
No, it's a 5:30 kickoff that game. 5:30 kickoff, and
watch that?
be a
That's gonna
be,
be a
be a
good
cracking
game.
game. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a tough game. We need to start winning ways, because
Yeah.
we're not been winning the Premier League. It's all good beating Sunderland, but I mean we've got to win this game. We've got to get something out of this game. If we don't win this game, just don't lose.
Yeah. Where's it? At St James Park.
St James Eye. Should
That's
be a
all right
cracking
then.
game.
Yeah, you lot should be well up for that. I mean, to be honest, today when you look at something like Man United, Man City, sorry, Man City. I don't think they're as strong as they used to be. Do you?
Um, Listen, Man City's in. They're not as strong at the minute, but I honestly think that Man City are in the title race. They're definitely in the title race. I would never ever diss them out because Man City are a cracking team. I mean, what people have to understand with Man City, they start well, they dip in, and then they come back stronger. They just like to keep other teams
Mm.
guessing. That's what they do because they're a world class team and they can pick up at any time. I mean, yes, Haaland could be back on Saturday. The bonus back. Uh, they've got two teams. They've got two teams. They can choose who
Mm.
they want. I think Pep knows exactly what he's doing.
Mm. Yeah. The only thing I think that will say is like, um, actually, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, please. Like and subscribe to both of the channels. Streaming live on John Sinclair TV also. So like and subscribe to both channels. What I would say about Man City, see what it was. This is what I know you probably agree with me. Still,
Mm.
it's like Man City, they was able to kick on. Do you know what I mean? Sort of like, the second half of the season, like now, they was able to kick on because they had the likes of Mares, they had like Gundogan, do you know
Mm.
what I mean? And certain other players, which they haven't got now. I'm just thinking that is it going to be harder for them to do that now um, than last time?
It's going to be slightly harder, but they're definitely found a way because, look, I mean, like I said, they've got a good team there. I mean, I'm never going to diss Pep's team because this team's world class. They got everything in the locker from the goalkeeper to back to the front. I'm not going to lie because when you look at it, I mean, yes, John Stones going to be a massive miss because he's one of the best defenders, yeah, but they still got quality. They got Ruben Diaz as one of them. They've also got the Gradiel as well, really good. But saying that, I mean, you keep playing David Hackett as centre defence as well. He'll come up with the goods as well, And the midfield three, Rodri. I mean, if they keep him fit between now and the end of the season, I mean, this guy's world class, best CDM in the world. I'm not gonna lie. And then you got De Bruyne's going to come back as well,
Mm,
and you also got Phil Foden. You look at that team; it's got everything. You know what I mean? Bernardo Silva, still quality. Alvarez, quality. Do you know what I mean? You know what it is? I mean, just keep going because they're going to come back stronger. I really do think Manchester's going to come back stronger. They've done it every single time. And
mm,
they'll do it again. Oh, that's why they're going to do it again. That's why they're going to win the league again because they're going to catch you up. And once they hit the top spot, then it's game over.
No, I hear that. I hear that. I mean, they've got sort of like they've got a game in hand. We're 5 points ahead of them, but they've got a game in hand. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
If Liverpool can keep on playing the way they're playing at the moment in getting these results, you know what I mean? Um, I don't think they actually do catch us. Do you know what I mean? You know, but like obviously not looking too far ahead, but I'm just saying that they, you know, if we're able to pull out the results at the end of the day that we have been pulling out, do you know what I mean, in the league, do you know what I mean? You know, I don't think they do catch us. Do you know what I mean? Because remember, they still got to come to Anfield, and when they do come to Anfield, they don't do so well at Anfield. At the Etihad, yeah, but at Anfield, and they don't seem to do so well at Anfield. So like that is a bonus in that is that the fact of the day. So like early doors now, we played some of these teams and some of these hard teams, some of these banana skins. We played them sort of like early and away from home. Now they've got to come to like to our ground. Do you know what I mean? Hot Fuzz, welcome to the show, my friend.
Big
How
up,
you
Hot
doing,
Fuzz.
sir?
Hot Fuzz, how are you doing, my guy?
Doing good, doing good. Apologies for my lateness. Literally,
No,
you sent me
no.
that message. I was literally stepping into the shower. I honestly not thought about what I was meant to be doing another show because I got another show going on later on tonight that I've been invited on. So
Yeah, it's
but,
Wolfgang show, isn't it? Wolfgang show.
yeah.
Yeah, good friend of mine. He's a really lovely guy. Did you wash behind your ears?
Sorry.
Did you wash behind your ears?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's thankfully I haven't got long hair around my ears now because I've recently had my hair done. So yeah, thankfully it's a quick job, especially with drying it now. So
Get in there. Listen, we were just talking about like Man City, and I put two questions towards you, like I obviously did to John. The first question, do you think that Man City are strong as they have been this part of the season? And two, at the end of the day, what do you think it's still going to be easy for them to catch up, knowing that in the day that sort of like people like Gundogan's not there anymore, Mahrez is not there anymore, and you know certain other players at the day that sort of like gave them that spark at the end of the day in the latter half of the season. You know what I mean? They ain't there now. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, put it to you. What do you think?
yeah, I think with the City team this year compared to last year is that if they want big game players or big moment players to turn up rather than your usual culprits for a City team, you're going to have to look at different types of players to do it now. I mean, instead of Riyad Mahrez, you might have to ask Jeremy Doku to create a moment of brilliance, cutting in from a wing somewhere. If you want goals from midfield, you might have to try and rely on Kovacic or Nunes to try and deliver something from deep. If of course De Bruyne isn't going to be delivering that sort of output, but I mean, getting De Bruyne back is he's been quite a big miss for the creative element of the team. I think with just the way in which the team plays from this season compared to last season, I feel like that there is maybe one or two differences between the two different teams, but as a whole, I think there's one thing that if you're Manchester City looking ahead at the team in first place, there's one thing that's different this time around, is that there's not Mikel Arteta's trust the process, a sinking ship, a ship that's got a ton of holes in the side of it, just slowly just disappearing into the ocean ahead. You haven't got the big blue sharks chasing that down. You're chasing down a bit more of a title experienced Liverpool team that have gone through a lot of changes themselves. But I think that in terms of having the know-how in these stages of the seasons heading towards the end of the season, that the thinking's going to be different. The mentality's going to be different. How you approach each game's probably going to be different compared to what Mikel Arteta's Arsenal team is. So for Liverpool, the story or the feeling around having, say, an 8-point gap to a Manchester City is probably going to develop a different kind of mood as opposed to perhaps those of people in the Arsenal fan base, where you start to see a bit of trouble, you get a little bit nervous almost instantly. Whereas Liverpool, it's like, I can have faith and trust that this team can get this across the line with a big advantage. Because usually we're talking about a Liverpool-Man City title race. They're almost neck and neck right the way throughout the season. But if you've got an established gap towards the top, maybe City do claw some of that gap back, but I don't know if it's going to be enough points accumulation for Man City to catch up to a Liverpool if they have that gap advantage.
Great.
Yeah, I totally understand. There's a question here from Ravi. Question: Is it a great idea to have no VAR for the League Cup? You can go first, John.
Um, I think it's brilliant. Not have VAR. It's flowing, absolutely flowing. No disturbance as well. Like no controversials, no daft things. Like, you know what I mean? Just straight for the game. That's it. None is VAR. For me personally, I was all up for it, but now I just think it's complete utter waste of time. I mean, it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And for me, I just think it's flowing.
Mm,
That's
mm,
that.
mm, mm. What do
I'm,
you think? I'm hot, Fuzz?
I'm for just scrapping the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
To right the way across all the leagues. I
100%,
mean,
100%.
it does bring better flow to the games. I mean, one example is that the additional time in pretty much all the games that have played without VAR has been significantly less versus those that has been with VAR.
Mm,
And I think it's more natural enjoyment for fans as well when they watch a game. If the team scores a goal, they can take one quick peek at the linesman and the referee, and if no one's flagging for anything, celebrate, lose your absolute nuts with it. You don't have to look for where the screen is and go, oh, VAR check, VAR check. You don't have to worry about that. It's all just natural. It all comes natural to you.
You're right. Because
Okay.
I do think it takes some of the like excitement and joy from the game when you constantly standing around waiting for, like, is it a goal or is it not a goal? Do you know what I mean? You know, and obviously, and then with the VAR, they get it wrong more times than they get it right. Do you know what I mean? So you might have a person in your team that scores a perfectly good goal. Do you know what I mean? But the VAR rules it off for like offside or whatever it may be. Do you know what I mean? And it turns out, and I think now 3 weeks later, they say they made a mistake. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I do get that sick. Even last night now, with the game last night, and we get onto that in a minute. The game last night, it was just flowing. It's just flowing. Apart from obviously, what's that? That guy, I forgot his name actually now. Brazilian guy. Apart from him, they falling over all the time, faking injury. I mean, other than that, Pereira. I think Pereira, his name is.
Yeah.
Apart from that, do you know what I mean? It was literally flowing, as you said, flowing, no problems. You know what I mean? And then obviously at the end of the third half, you had 3 minutes added on time. Yeah. And at the end of the game, and the 90 minutes, you only had 4 minutes, which is good. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't something like freaking 15 minutes bloody overtime. Do you know what I mean? One game, I think we played one game. I'm sure it was against either Wolves or one other team we played, yeah. And we played 13 minutes. 13 minutes, and the guy decided to blow the whistle for the end of the game. I think it was, I'm sure it was on one of those teams there. But 13 minutes, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's a question for you, John. A question for Big John. What's going on with FFP at the Toon?
It's getting ridiculous. I mean, people are panicking, like, you know what I mean? I mean, people saying that we had to sell one of our star player in the summer for line FFP. Thing is, right? I mean, we got Adidas money coming in the summer because that's about shirt sponsorship. Yeah, I just don't see it's no point selling because we're gonna get more money coming through from sponsorship, maybe more money from Adidas. I just can't see the point why, but I can understand why we need to sell someone so we can spend more money on more players at FFP. But it's FFP as well, like FFP bollocks. Do you know what I mean? It's a disgrace. Excuse me, French, right? They need to scrap that as well because what they're doing, they're just limiting the clubs spending what they want. Yeah, but if this hasn't come into play, then we could have got the likes of Mbappe as well. Personally, I don't want him, but you can get the likes of flipping Jude Bellingham as well. But the problem is nowadays, for me, I've got to be honest with you, right? But this FFP is looking after the big six clubs. That's it. The rest of them, they don't want people like Newcastle, Villa, Brighton upsetting the big six. I've always said that, yeah. I think the Premier League is corrupt, right? And they've done this just before we got to take over, and they know that we could upset the apple cart. Yeah, you're like an elephant in a room. They're coming for them. The Premier League didn't want to get top 4. They didn't want to settle. They were so peed off when Liverpool didn't qualify for the Champions League. You know what I mean? I think Pop Thursday would be happy with that because he's a United fan. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I think you need to look at it again. I mean, I could see one from Ian as well in the chat. There was an interview with Darren Eales. He's the chief exec for Newcastle. He didn't say we have to sell. It was part of the discussion of other clubs doing that. That's a fair comment. But in my opinion, we don't really have to sell. We got Adidas money coming in. And anyway, Bruno Guimaraes is happy at Newcastle. Alex Isak's happy at Newcastle. Sven Botman loves the club.
Yeah.
They're not going to get forced out of the club. Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they want us to be the selling club. And we want the best, our team to be the strongest we can. We need to get rid of players like Lascelles, Kraft, Dummett, Ritchie, right? Jacob Murphy. Maybe if we want to get into winning trophies, right? If we want to win a title, yeah. The names I just mentioned are not, I will repeat, not going to win you a title, yeah. They're not, because some of this place has been there for too long, yeah. And we need players coming in new. We need to get the players. We've not got time for settlement, yeah. If they're out of contract, let them go. Do you know what I mean? And keep on better players like Joel and Bruno and add to quality players on top.
This is a question for you, John. What's your thoughts on Mike Hunt going to Man United?
Right, Adam, don't be a pork chop, mate. This is a respectful channel, yeah? Right?
Is he an idiot?
Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's a good lad, Adam, but this guy is an absolute. You don't send comments like that on someone else's channel, man. Yeah. Go on to the next one, man. Go on to the next one.
Yeah.
Some people on social media, right? I'm not gonna lie. I sound like Lee Gunn. I don't want to be like him. He's a great guy. I love him to bits, yeah. But there's people on social media, especially our fan base. Some of our fan base are tapped. Yeah.
He's a bit of a fool, is he? I'll look out for him next time. Then,
yeah.
So I'll look out for him.
I was chatting to you. I didn't realize. Sorry.
No. So listen, there was a game at the day on Tuesday at the day.
Yeah.
With Chelsea and Middlesbrough, and Middlesbrough end up beating them 1-0.
Mm.
I don't know what's going on with Chelsea. I do not know what's going on with Chelsea. They cannot find no consistency, and it's kind of like frustrating. They're it's not as if they ain't got the players. Do you know what I mean? But they cannot find no consistency. Now, I'm not being funny. As good as Middlesbrough are, you don't get beaten by Middlesbrough away. You don't. You just don't. Do you know what I mean? You not a team like Chelsea where they have got players in their side and that can literally do the job. I mean, Modric, Endo Fernandez, Raheem Sterling, and the list goes on. But I saw that game and everything that right. I'm not being funny. And if they was in a brothel, they couldn't score. Do you know what I mean? It was just like one of them games like that. Did you actually watch the game, Hot Fuzz? Did you watch the game? What's your thoughts on that?
I watched somewhat halfway through towards the end of the game. And it was just, I'd say just an uninspiring Chelsea performance. Really just sort of, perhaps a lack of ideas as to how to break down a stubborn low block. I know sometimes we can probably just say it's just Michael Carrick. He's become the new bogey manager for Chelsea because he stunk out a draw against Chelsea after taking over from I think it was Ollie. To be honest, with Chelsea quality wise, I know their team lacks star power with the ability and various players in the attack. I just feel like the way in which this Chelsea team or the players that they play, it's like they're missing that sense of urgency. They're in a semi-final for a cup competition, for a trophy that they could win. There's an opportunity to win a trophy right there. So you'd imagine in the semi-final of a competition, you think, well, damn, we could actually realistically, we're with 2 games away before a ball's been kicked against Middlesbrough. We're 2 games away from a final at Wembley. Let's, you know, look at how we were last season. We wished we were in a Wembley final. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that were they in Wembley finals, or was that I'm thinking the season before? I don't know.
Season before.
Yeah,
It was in the final with us.
Domestic cup finals. They lost both to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Shake my head, but yeah, I feel like with this Chelsea team here and now, they looked so gutless and so uninspired. And maybe you look at Pochettino and you say, well, what was your game plan for this? What were your instructions? What was your message to the team? How was it you were going to motivate this team to see this occasion here and now as a perfect opportunity to basically complete the tie away from home? Like if they beat them 2-3-0 or 3-1 or something at Riverside, you're playing your home leg of the semi-final with a relatively big advantage, and you think, well, that game should just complete itself. You can rotate a little bit, focus your strength in other competitions, and then see yourself through to a final. But it's just like they've not only made the job much harder for themselves with this crappy away performance, they've practically almost played themselves. I mean, they'll probably still go through. They'll probably still beat Middlesbrough at Stamford Bridge. But you've jeopardised the possibility that this Chelsea team could get some form of validation by winning a trophy. Any sort of validation, legitimisation that this Chelsea team can win something, and then it's those players get to say, well, actually, we can win competitions. We just need to dig in and grind some results out. But we've got the foundations for something to play off of.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, right? They spent £1 billion, right, Chelsea, and they haven't got a recognised striker. I mean, Nkunku will come good. He's out injured again with a hip injury. Yeah. Nicholas Jackson, yeah, he's out. Nicholas Jackson, what's happened to him? Right, he's injured as well.
He's gone AFCON. No, he's gone AFCON.
He's got AFCON, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got AFCON. Yeah.
But they got no one up front. So all that money, they got no one up front. What they need is a world-class striker. That's what they need. But the thing is, at Chelsea, I think they got a team. They just don't know each other. Do you know what I mean? If Limber Sursa's right, do you know what I mean? I look at that squad, I'm thinking, you know what? Raheem Sterling, I tell you what, when he's good, he's very good. But he hasn't been that great. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. I look at Conor Gallagher, all he does is presses high. That's about it. That's it. But I went to that game against Chelsea in Carabao Cup. We should have won that game. We should have closed the game out. But Trippier won it for them, really. I'm not going to lie. But then again, I think Chelsea were that great. They were not that great at all whatsoever. I mean, they just keep missing chances. That's another thing. They get all the chances and they're just missing chance after chance after chance. 43% of missed chances. We can't do that.
I mean,
Cole Palmer missed quite a few sitters that night as well.
Mate, I tell you something. That was all for me. I mean, I know the one with the base over the bar. He knew very little about it, but the bottom line is, you got to take those chances, and he didn't. And another thing is that Cole Palmer, he's a 10, not a centre forward.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, today, I think what gets me with Chelsea today, there's just no consistency in the club. There's just no consistency. Because you look at Chelsea's history is at the day, if it's not working, we rip it up, get another manager in, spend shitloads of money, and then and we probably win something, probably win an FA Cup, or probably win the League Cup, or probably win the league. You know what I mean? They're constantly chopping and changing their managers. That's the only way they've got success. Now they've asked at the day now for some consistency. They don't know what they're doing because they've never been down this road at the day of consistency. Really, when you think about it, the moment it goes, I'm surprised at the day that Maurizio Pochettino's lasted this long. I'm surprised he's lasted this long. Because we all know the history at the end of the day with Chelsea. When it ain't going right, you out the door, get another manager in. Yeah, you got shitloads of money to spend. Do you know what I mean? So you don't get enough consistency there. When you look at the team, itself, although you've got some good players in there, you've got a bunch of individuals. You've literally got a bunch of individuals that don't know nothing about each other. Do you know what I mean? They've got no idea how this person plays and this, and they just got nothing. So when it transcends on the pitch, you got players at the day running around at the day like a headless chicken. Richie running around like a headless chicken. How many times have you seen sort of like Endo Fernandez in there running around the pitch and nothing's happening for him? Nothing's happening to him. What's it? Modric is the same. Do you know what I mean? Jackson is the same. Do you know what I mean? Sterling is the same. All these players that's supposed to be ballers are running around the pitch. Nothing ain't going on for them. You should not get beaten by Middlesbrough. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? All right, for instance, Sunderland are not doing too bad at the end of the day in the Championship, yeah? They're not doing too bad. But you wouldn't expect Sunderland to beat you lot in the FA Cup, would you? Do you know what I mean, Joe?
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't expect that to happen.
Nah, not at all. I mean, the thing is, though, I was worried going into that game against Sunderland. I'm not going to lie, because our record against them for the last 13 years has been shocking. We've not beaten Sunderland 13 years, yeah? But we're 2 games unbeaten now against them, by the way. And we had to win that game. With the players we've got, compared to the Sunderland's got, we should be winning these. Simple as that. And we've done that. We control that game from minute 1 to 90. Yeah. Getting beat off them lot is not an option, but not surprising. But the question is, could we handle the crowd? Could we handle the occasion? That's the most important thing. And we did. And we did. I mean, Miguel Miron, right? Outstanding that game. Joe Linton, first half outstanding. Bruno G got the know-how. He knows what it's all about. He controlled that game in the second half with ease. But
so that's what I'm saying. I'm like, listen, it comes to something, Hot Fuzz, yeah, when the best player in your team is 39 years old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. We talk about Thiago Silva.
Thiago Silva. What's your thoughts on Thiago Silva, Hot Fuzz?
I think
go on, you carry on. You go for it, man.
I think there's a slippery. It's like you're stuck on an icy slope with Thiago Silva because he is starting to decline individually. His performances are getting a little bit less reliable, or like someone you can sit there and say he's going to carry the team's performance. He's starting to become a little bit less and less reliable, and it's starting to show a few bits in moments in games here and there. But to me, Thiago Silva is one of the only knowledgeable heads in that football team. The only sort of composed heads in that football team. And sometimes just that little bit of composure and experience, you can see that he sits head and shoulders above the other players in that team, the younger players that are sort of just running around doing whatever it is they're told to do for 90 minutes, whether it's exactly what the managers asked them to do or not. Thiago Silva, he's someone that I think you could say was once a Rolls Royce type defender, but now he's on the wrong side of the prime years, and I think it's worrying for Chelsea because it's like if he's no longer reliable, who else is there? Who else is that team got? What other character has that team got that's got somebody who can step up and then lead it? It's not just, and I suppose that's the problem. It's just not just in establishing where your next leader is going to come from, where you're going to be, as far as your team is concerned, with players who are more experienced, who have got those leadership qualities within. Because Chelsea, they've got to stop planning for the future, continue to plan for the future, But if this policy with under 25s and trying to get youth players in to sort of be more sort of youth centric, and there's probably, I think, some of the sinister minds at Chelsea, or more sort of complex minds in the Chelsea fan base, thinking that there's a more sinister side to this, more like a money making exercise with the younger players, trying to buy cheap and sell off for profits. I think building your team up for the future, you're not well set up because you've not got a plan for 2-3 seasons down the line. Like, who's going to be captaining this Chelsea side? Who's got the leadership qualities? Who's got the character to step up? What is the dynamic of this team when you go into next season, the season after that, and the season after that? Chelsea aren't plotted with structure and with plan and with ideas for that. They're literally just plan for now. Let's do this season. Yes, happy days. There's no thought, no mind, nothing paid towards the season after, the season after, the season after. There's not even the slightest consideration for that. If there is, I'm afraid it's not to do with sporting merit. It's to do with financial. It's all financial. And that's the biggest problem for Chelsea, is that I think there's a bit too much thinking about players for their market values, as opposed to actually what player do we sign now that's going to fit the mold for what we want this team to be 2-3 seasons down the line, if you're planning to sign younger players. For me, they've got to go out and look at some more experienced players, or players that are leaders, to bring into this setup, to trim down the squad a little bit, because I think there's just too much going on where there's too many players. The game time will be too inconsistent, and in terms of squad fitness, a little bit too stop-start, maybe a little bit unreliable as far as player fitness is concerned, where no one could really sort of get into a groove. There's only a handful of players that you get at Chelsea that play game after game after game after game after game. Everyone else, you sort of start them one week, drop them the next. Somebody else comes in, and then I feel like it's too bit jittery, too stop-starty for me.
No, I hear that.
Agree.
John?
Yeah.
You want to say something about Thiago?
Oh, Silva. Thing is, right, he's 39 years old, yeah? Can you hear us all here? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can hear you.
Well, someone said, Jeff said to me, mic on, sorry. Yeah, basically, with Thiago Silva, right, I mean, this guy, for me, he's a leader, yeah? Yes, he's slowing down a bit, I get that, but I have to agree with what Fussy said, but I could add something as well. But I still think he's a decent player, and he's not as quick, but he reads the game really well, and he's just so calm. But the thing is, right, he's very experienced, yeah, and players like Badashile should be learned from Mendiasti as well, if I pronounce his name right. Should learn from him as well. But at the minute, they're not actually clicking yet. Badashile will come good. He'll be a good defender when he comes, yeah. But the Asti will come good as well. But I think Silva will be gone at the end of the season, yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think he'll be gone at the end of the season. I really will. And I think the two lads I mentioned, we have to step up to the mark, really, because they're not going to have Thiago Silva to bail out. But I saw that game against Newcastle, yeah. And I thought Chelsea defended quite well in pass apart from that mistake as to the goal. But I still think they need another centre back, someone that it could just take risks as well. But it's hard, really. But it's really hard for Chelsea at the minute. And another thing about Chelsea as well, they have to keep on the Poch. You need to keep Poch on. Yes, I know they want him out, but you need to keep on to him as well. You know what I mean? He's got a 2-year contract, and he's got to get it right next season. If he gets it wrong, then it doesn't look good for him at all, because these owners don't mess about. They sack him when they want to sack him. Do you know what I mean? But do you agree with that, Fuss? Do you think he should keep Poch?
I mean, the difficulty with Poch is that it's entirely dependent on what the setup is above him.
Yeah.
I think that's it's like the arguments with United managers, and knowing what we know now is if you've got United managers or just managers in general who get given projects or get hired on the technicality for what people want you to do at this club, then they'll sign you players for your first season, dependent on how they back you, and you get given certain time, certain amount of patience, and see what you can do with it. There's a lot of managers that perhaps we deem it as like the job's too big for managers. For me, I think the jobs can always be made easier for managers, and that for me is the biggest concern. One of the bigger concerns I have for Chelsea is if they're at a stage where they might just be in a similar boat to United as far as how managers come and go in the job, where it's not actually about this manager getting everything done for him and he just focuses on coaching a team to try and win trophies. This time around, it's a manager tries to come in with a project, tries to board back him. I say back him, in quotation marks, back them with certain amount of funds in transfer windows, put together a squad, mishmash it. You think, oh yeah, some players from this management, from this team, we want to move them on, get this up, get our current manager's players in, and build a team for him, and it never really gets to that point, and then you start to see that manager stagnate, project goes downhill, it gets to an untenable point. They sack the manager, bring someone else in, and it just rinse and repeats the whole thing without the trophies being there. And I feel like Chelsea might be sort of sliding towards that. And to me, that's what I'm looking at. Todd Bowley, I'm thinking, if like, God forbid, you end up making this Chelsea manager's job a poison chalice, like the United manager's job is. Thank you very much, Glazers, for that. And that's the thing. Chelsea, like they're hitting new lows, and it's just like you spend that much money to not reciprocate anywhere near the success.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost tragic to think that Chelsea fans, as part of the takeover, said no to the Ricketts because they had this anti-Glazer thing, but they literally did not want the new owners to use the club like the Glazers have. I think inadvertently, Todd Bowley's sort of pushing this team towards, or this club towards, being in that same sort of rut that the Glazers are in terms of how the team goes around, like attaining success on the pitch, or where the priorities of the club is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot of too much focus for this ownership model to actually do good things on the pitch. It's like that's not the priority anymore. I feel like it's sort of swayed a bit, that the ideologies changed at Chelsea a bit, and that's my biggest concern for Chelsea fans. I'm sure that I'll probably add this conversation with Wolfgang Division very, very soon, probably on his show tonight, because there's a lot of things that I look into near future, and I'm just it doesn't paint a good picture. It's just whether I think there's quite a few Chelsea fans that see it quite possibly for what it actually is. But then there's others that are just like, oh, well, we're just trash. I don't even know what else to say about it.
It's chucking to me, and he's chucking good money after bad, because you're not being funny, and with the money that they spend, on these players, you have to have success. If you don't get success in some shape or form, to me, at the day, it's a failure. If you're not even winning a league cup, because to be honest, at the day, I don't actually feel at the day that they're going to get through against Middlesbrough. I think all Middlesbrough's going to do when they go to sort of like Stamford Bridge is put man behind the ball and hope to catch it, and then they sort of like Chelsea on the counter-attack. Do you know what I mean? Because remember at the day, the emphasis is on Chelsea, not on Middlesbrough. The emphasis is on them, because they're one goal down. Do you know what I mean? So they have to sort of like either level the deficit, and hopefully they can take him into the extra time, or if he goes straight to penalties, hopefully they can win straight on penalties, right? Or even overhaul that, and then they sort of and beat them. So the emphasis is on them. But when you've got a person that comes in and wants to buy anybody that's got football boots, yeah, right. This is what you get. This is literally what you get. Because remember at the day, you know, right, when they were spending money at the day, and they was able to buy Modric at the day, right, and Arsenal weren't able to get him. When they was able to go out and get Endo Fernandez and everything like that, and we weren't able to get him. When they went out and they to get Carcedo in the day, right, and they was laughing at us and they say, "Oh yeah, you don't want the Carcedo, and you couldn't get them and this and that, and now we got them." Look us in a better position than what they are. Do you know what I mean? And we haven't spent half that money at the end of the day on our players. Now, I always say this at the end of the day in life: it's quality, not quantity. That's what it is: quality, not quantity. And what they've gone for is quantity. Yeah. And these players that they got, and everything that Todd Bowley said, "Yeah, I want him. Yeah. Brought him into the side and said, "Right, go on, Poch, you deal with that." You know, before Poch, it was Graham Potter. It was Graham Potter before that. God's got a couple of questions here. One from Ravi. Do you think the so many bigger teams need to take more risk on the unknown and lesser players like teams like Fulham, Brighton do, and end up with players balling out that big league teams want them? Well, gotta go and want them. What do you think, John?
Well, it depends where you want to shop, really. If you want to shop in the Championship, then it's going to cost you more an arm and a leg as well these days because they're still greedy, like teams like Leicester, Southampton, and Leeds, and that they don't really want to sell their players for the game promotion. But for me, Leicester players who let's want to go to like Sweden or Norway or Denmark or the lesser leagues as well, I suppose. So you can take a gamble on them as well. It depends what scout you got. If you got someone like Brighton, for example, yeah, they got a good scouting network as well. Brighton, they bought players to South America, and they've been really successful. Fulham, they've done a bit as well. They've been really successful as well. And also, it depends how much money you've got to spend as well. They've both got money to spend on the right areas. But for me, what about the English ones as well? What about the English players like come through the ranks as well? Why do you not give them a go?
Yeah,
you know, it's like we got Lewis Miley. He came from the youth. Sean Longstaff as well. Do you know? And thing is, though, as for me, I mean, if you go for a title or chance for a top four, and you want to buy another player, yeah, it's best to buy someone in the Premier League where they can hit the ground running. If you buy someone abroad, going for the title of the top four, they have to hit the ground running. They could struggle at the pace of the man's in the Premier League. But bigger teams, I don't mind taking a risk. But we got Dan Ashworth, so obviously knows what he's doing. I mean, no one don't know. We don't hardly hear from the guy. But he could be going to, he may go to United. I doubt he will, but there's been talks about it. But I think first you'd be happy in that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. The sooner John Murtaugh Madness leaves the building, the sooner that leaves the building, the better.
And you want to get Dan Ashworth.
Yeah.
Another question here. Question for all on the state of the world of football currently. I'll come to Fuzz first, then I'll come to you, John. Then I'll answer the question last.
State of world football currently. I mean, degrading, I guess, or degenerating a little bit. I know it's getting more and more coverage, so the coverage is expanding, but I think just the natural element of what football was as a sport, what it originally was, where it's come from, we're losing less and less of that originality of the sport, and it's becoming more and more about spreadsheets and data and percentages rather than just a bunch, like just 11 people on one team and 11 people on the other team that come from different backgrounds with different upbringings, different experiences with the ball, and different levels of quality, and that they try to just outdo the other team. And I think that side of the game, or that element of the game, is being fizzled out. Like I'm sure a lot of the terms that people are or phrases that a lot of people are coining now is it's athletes first, footballers second. That you're seeing more and more athletes coming into the football game as opposed to naturally talented footballers. And of course, across 90 minutes, you'll get played off the park by an athlete or a team of athletes. You'll get played off the park, but I just think there's less incentive nowadays in the top end of the game for players with natural ability to be able to show what it is that they've got, what their ability is. I mean, because most of the systems nowadays, you've got so much coaching going on. There's no time for your little flicks over people. There's no time for your little nutmegs here and there. There's no time for your little step overs. You just get the ball and pass it 5 yards. If you're out on the wing, we want to keep the ball in the possession-based team. We want you to pass the ball 5 yards backwards, as opposed to taking on your man, taking a bit of a risk, and being more of a flair player. And there's a lot of players that you sort of say, well, what could have been? What if? I mean, maybe Anthony is a case of that. Very, very, very raw player. He's not a system player by any stretch of the imagination. It turns out, because you look at him at Ajax, where he's got a bit more freedom to exude his personality and his play style. You see how much trickery he's got, and you think, well, actually, he's got a bit of skill here. He goes to United, he's just turned into the biggest mean fidget spinner on the planet. It's just like, and the most expensive one at that.
I know, 90 frigging million. What do you think, John?
Yeah. I've got to go along with what First you're saying as well. Like, you're getting all these players from in the world, you pay over the odds for it, and it just hasn't really worked out, has it? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a tough one, really. You know what I mean? But it's basically what he's been saying. I've got to have to go with him. So I'm not copying him, but I have to go along with what he's been saying. So yeah. Going back to Anthony as well, 90 million quid. What a waste of money. Who decides to pay that sort of money should be sacked. Because I'll tell you now, that 90 million could have got you 3 decent players. Pay all that money. I actually laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you look at the thing is now, they ask for so much money to stay, and they're going to pay the money. That is it. Look at players like Osman. He's rated 130 mil by Napoli. No one ain't going to pay that in January. I'll tell that right away.
But he's gonna be a flop when he comes to England. I know that. I know for a fact he's gonna be a flop, because what a lot of people's got to understand, he's clocking up numbers in Italy, yeah. But what a lot of people don't understand is that Italian football is much more slower than English football. Italian football is less physical than English football. Do you know what I mean? So these players at the day, they come from over there to England, and they get a culture shock. Do you know what I mean? When they have to sort of play when they're playing the freezing cold, and do you know what I mean, and stuff like that, all this kind of stuff. So I don't see the traction in buying Ousmane Dembele. I wouldn't buy him. I would not buy him. You know what I mean? If Liverpool was in for that, in for him, I'd say, nah, man, Lego that, stop that, man. Do you know what I mean? So, the world football, to me, at the end of the day, it's in it's in disarray. Do you know what I mean? It's like getting players at the day, they'll have, one good season in there, and all of a sudden someone wants to buy them for 100 million. Do you know what I mean? Like that guy, it's a guy that used to play for Real Madrid, and he plays for Getafe now. And I think Arsenal was apparently putting a bid for him. He's played 19 games and he scored 12 goals. And now people are looking at this guy now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah? To say, well, look, this guy at the day is supposed to be the new Messiah. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm getting at?
I do. I'll be honest with you, I don't know everything about this guy. I've not been watching Spanish football for a while now because I've been so busy with podcasts and stuff. But, I heard of him. And for me, I think Getafe will sell if the right money comes along.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what Arsenal don't want. Arsenal need an Ivan Toney. He's going to go for the title. Do you know what I mean? And I know people in my chat who watches my channel do not want Ivan Toney. Yeah, at this moment in time. But Arsenal or Chelsea could do with him. Arsenal could do with Ivan Toney. If we do that, I think Arsenal's got a good chance of winning the title. But the thing is, though, I mean, I listened to this guy on this massive channel. I'm not going to mention his name, right? It's a baldy lad. I mean, hot thirsty know what I'm talking about, right? And the guy's an idiot, an absolute idiot. He said that Arsenal don't need a striker, you know. He's a muppet. Seriously, man. I mean, what's he talking about? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think Jess going to agree, right? But the guy begins with a J, come out and say, we're not going to buy it. You don't need a striker. And I tell you what, he got absolutely ripped a good one, I'm telling you. You know, that guy is an absolute delusional, man. He really is.
Right. Just
sorry.
Should FFP be scrapped? Should that be scrapped?
100%, because it's unfair. It's I think it should be everywhere. It should be everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Level field, yeah. Because what will happen now? I think I said earlier on, the top 6 are going to get away with it. Is people like us can only spend what we're allowed to spend. We can spend what we want over 3 years. Then after that, we're going to have to cut the cost. Yeah. But I think our owners have been very careful. It's as simple as that. But if we want to spend more money, we spend more money. That's what we'll do. Yeah. I'm afraid they're so cautious. You can't spend more than $500 million.
Okay. Right, I was going to go through the last comments in there, and then we'll make a we got to go on the show. I understand we got to go on the show, sort of like Wolfgang show. Do you know what I mean? And obviously we got that. But what I'll do next week, when I do the show next week, I'll start it earlier. I'll start at 8 o'clock next week instead of 9 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? A bit of time. Are people sleeping on Villa with how well they're currently doing? Can they win something this season, or will they fizzle out? I think they might win something this season. I think they might. I don't know what. Do you know what I mean?
Probably Conference League, to be fair.
Yeah, Conference League. Yeah, they'll probably win that. Do you know what I mean? You know. Great points, Ronaldo. Ronaldo, you know. Ronald. Ronaldo, you know. Got Ronaldo on the brain. Who's Ronald?
Ronald Wood. It's the brother of Chris Wood.
Oh, big up.
In that case, he might as well be Ronaldo. You know?
Big up Lorraine. Who's there? Ronald Woods. Okay, cool. Big up Football Bants channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to Football Bants channel. I should be having him on my show very, very soon. So big up to you, Football Bants channel. He says blessings to the panel. Paul Cart's in the building. Big up, Paul.
Big up, Paul, mate. My cause. Big bro.
Nice guy. Really nice guy.
He is. He owns me for Hayden.
You need both quantity and quality. I don't agree with that. I think at the end of the day, sort of like you can get away with having like 11 or 14 quality players, much less than sort of like 30 players at the day. You know what I mean? That are not quality. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's when you look at the Chelsea team, that's what they've got. They've got a load of players at the day, and I can only put my finger on 2 players at the day in the Chelsea squad that I would have in my team. That's Kyle Palmer and Thiago, possibly Thiago. Do you know what I mean? Other than that, not for me.
No Caicedo?
Huh?
No Caicedo? Rotate with Endo? Push McAllister forwards?
He hasn't looked good. He hasn't really looked good. I mean...
Do you reckon that's just a team that he's gone into, though?
Yeah, possibly you're right, though.
Because if he goes into a Klopp team, he might be incentivised, and with more trustworthy teammates around him, might elevate his game.
Yeah, you got something there. You got something there, Hot Fuzz. I find it hard to argue with you, you know. I find it hard. No, seriously, you come out with some points, and I mean, that's a fair one, actually. But yeah, it's true. Let's say 3 then. 3 players. The rest of them, no, not for me. Okay, guys, we're gonna make a move now. John, please shout out your channel for me, friend, and tell me what you got coming up, my friend.
Okie dokie. I mean, I'm gonna go to the match on Saturday against Man City, and also going to the ladies' match against United on Sunday, 12 o'clock kickoff time. I'll be back again either Monday or Tuesday for the Real Tour podcast show. I will decide on the day, and then I'll do previews, bit of breaking news if it's available, and also I may start doing collab on my channel as well, getting different fans on my channel as well, like you guys.
Yeah,
Can't that'd be amazing. And I'm gonna see if I can get Jess on as well because that'd be brilliant. You know what I mean?
lovely guy.
But he is
Lovely guy.
fantastic. He speaks sense. And I tell you what, he was a Newcastle fan and then will upset Jez. Jez will absolutely have him for breakfast. You know what I mean? He doesn't do social media. And I don't blame him either. Do you know what I mean? I love Jez to bits, man. He's the real one. We got a Kenny Ken.
Try to get Kenny Ken as well. He's good as well.
Yeah, man, I will do. He's so polite. He's a gentleman.
What? My friend.
He's a gentleman.
Yeah.
I was on a show with him one time with him and Jazz and everything that, and I couldn't believe it and how polite he is and how sort of like, you know, and how much facts it and he sort of like turns out. So yeah, very good.
He's
guy.
amazing. So I'll be doing. He is brilliant. And then other than that, I mean, I'm gonna try and get the big hit test as well on my channel. I'm gonna speak to people if they want to come on. Cool. I did have Tim Vicker on my show. Adam Pearson is the biggest Newcastle YouTuber out there. Alice Abrams as well. I had a United fan. She is so amazing. Big YouTuber. You know what I mean? Tim Vicker I mentioned. Hey ho. And this is the thing, right? I'm going to go to Roller. I didn't say United, John. We are United. Newcastle United, yeah. But there's so many people who say it's United. We all know which United it is. Do you know what I mean? But you guys say United as well, don't you?
Yeah, sometimes say that. Hot Fuzz.
Sorry, Ronald.
Hot Fuzz, what you got coming up next, and where can they find you, my friend?
Yeah.
You can find me about five-ish minutes or so over on Wolfgang Division's channel because I'll be featuring on his show coming up tonight, as well as you, Uncle Rodz, as well. I'm sure you'll be over there. I believe, along with a couple of other guests, will be featuring on that show. Also tomorrow, we've got on my channel the Tottenham Hotspur preview, 9 p.m. We'll have Kudos, the Tottenham supporter, who's just sort of starting out on his YouTube stuff as well. So big ups to him. He'll be the Tottenham guest on that preview show tomorrow night, 9 p.m. As for shows over the weekend, we'll have to see what happens. I'm sure they'll have something coming out across the weekend, probably transfer related, because we don't play until Sunday, and then there'll be the match reaction post Tottenham game, which I'm sure will be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting to see what happens.
Cool.
Cool.
Listen, thanks you guys for coming on to this evening. Appreciate it 100%. I should be back tomorrow evening with a Q&A show tomorrow evening. And then next week I should have a couple of new shows that I'm going to try out and stuff. And then obviously background here for this show next week, Thursday. But I'm going to drag it back earlier. So it'd be at 8 o'clock, you know what I mean? So people can sort of like, you know, get on and get enough time to say what they want to say and stuff. Because obviously I've got to appreciate the fact that one's got to go to work early in the morning and we're going to be in another show. So yeah, it'll be earlier next week. But thank you to everybody in the chat. And do remember, if you're going to watch it on a replay, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. Okay. And also hit the notification button and you will be notified when I go live. Also, please subscribe to John Sinclair TV. Make sure you like and subscribe on his channel. Great guy, you know what I mean? Swear by him. Okay? So make sure you like and subscribe on his channel. Okay? And also make sure, you like and subscribe on Hot Fuzzy's channel. He's got a lot of good things to say when it comes to football. And listen, it's so interesting. No BS, as they say. We always say that we don't talk no BS, and Hot Fuzz does not talk no BS. Everything at the end of the day is factual. So please like and subscribe to Hot Fuzz's channel and show him the support that he deserves. So Thank you, Early Doors. I missed you tonight, mate. You have to come back next week, definitely. But yeah, big up to you. He says, good show. Take care for now. Big up, love and respect. And this is our couple of comments. And then you got that. So,
Big up,
guys,
Lorraine.
big up Lorraine.
Big ups.
Lorraine Turner, big up, big up, big up. Love, respect to you. So, guys, all I got to say, guys, is love and respect. Take care. And we'll see you soon.
See you
Peace.
soon.